Particle pointer, yeah. And we're going to call this, yeah, no we're not. We're just going to call this instantiate particle. Wow, instantiate particle. There we go. And this new function is going to do exactly what I say it does, which is, let's put this, just for sanity's sake, below these two. Sleep particle system. You go here, you go here. All of this code is going to live in here, and we're just going to call it from here. Instantiate particle. And now we're going to take all this and also call instantiate particle. Right? And that's all there is to it. Thank you guys. Different radius, different position, nearly everything, right? All the information that was in the good particle was the first one getting created, and all the rest were garbage. Chat saves the day. Thank you guys. Sometimes you get so tunnel visioned on what you're working on, you kind of forget little details of what you've been doing. And it's really one of the more painful things to run into when it does happen. There we go. Look at that. They're sleeping it up. Alright. So that's boring, right? This exists and is nice, but it's boring. First off, binary on and off is ugly. Secondly, there's no color, there's no extra movement. Third, straight up is boring. We need them to waggle a little as they go upwards. And maybe a little color, just to mess with it, or maybe some size changing too. Like, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with particles. We're doing the most boring implementation in the world. Hey, there's a halt production. The first guy has awoken. And you can see that the particles will continue upwards once somebody halts production. And then a new system is getting created. Alright, cool. Alright. So let's start with the fun stuff. Because we've done the requisite, like, boring, work. Like, we can make these suckers spin. We could make them change size. We could do all kinds of stuff. Right? So let's get in on some of the fun. Is there anything else I want to make sure? I want to get everything right on this, just to make sure I'm not doing anything silly. That looks fine, though. Alright, color. We could do color stuff. Orientation. Okay, so, the most obvious and first thing I want to do is get them to fade as their lifetime grows low, right? That's something that we never really want to do, straight up. Just setting their color to white is boring. So, here, when we say set their position comes first, and then we say particle color, color alpha specifically. How are we going to do this? Life times... I don't know. Let's see. Life is... how big? Your life starts at... Okay, this is something actually that can fall into another constant. K... not float, int. K life max equals, let's set it to, like, let's see, right now it's at 4,000, right? 4 seconds. So first off, we want variable depths. Also, let's see here. Let's try 3 seconds. I like 4 seconds, though. 4 seconds is kind of a nice creation time. We'll just make them a teensy bit smaller to kind of get more of them in there and have them do neater things. Okay. Dum-dum-dum. Let's see here. Let's get that alpha in. So life times, it would be 1 over, not that, max, k life max. Would that work? So it starts out full, and then as it gets closer and closer, it should fade to nothing. Cool. Seems right. Alright, what else do we got? Size. Having them get bigger as they go upwards, that's an interesting thought. For now, I want them to do a sine wave back and forth. Very simple, very little. Shouldn't take much extra work. Right, all we should have to do is say the particle position dot x math sine, not even math, sine? Yeah. The sine of the what? Life life times one, we'll do the same thing here, over excuse me, k life max, and then we'll multiply this by something to get a different frequency of sine waves. So let's say well, first off, 2 pi. So that gives us 1 back and forth, right? So now we multiply this by, I don't know, let's say 3. That might be a little too hectic, but we'll go with it for now. Let's just see how this looks. We might want to generate some random numbers in here, just to start throwing a little chaos into our system. I'm gonna laugh if these are like waving back and forth like mad. Oh god, they are. They're flying all over the place. Okay. Also, I just realized X is gonna make them only go along one axis. Not screens, they're not screen space X. This is a relative X, and so this might not be the best thing I can do. Better idea. Better idea. Orientation, so this will make it kind of wave back and forth. C4 F as this, and then we're going to multiply, oop, not there, we want this here, and we're going to say times 0 points, I don't know, 1. We don't want it to waggle too much. So essentially this will make them kind of wave back and forth, right, as they go up. Which will be cute. That should be interesting. Okay, sleepy time. Womp. So I must have put that number really small, because they're not actually waving much. I do like the fact that you can see them fading. The fading is a nice touch. But I'm not really seeing the orientation change at all. Let's look at this number here. What's the orientation? 0. What? Huh? Orientation. What are you? You're an unsigned fixed. The top 8 bits divide the circle. The The field is only used for point particles and should not be set for other types of particles. Okay. This is a bizarre... That's a bizarre variable right there. I have never run into an unsigned fixed. There's an unsigned 8.24 bit fixed point angle. The top 8 bits divide the circle into 256 angles. So it's only the first 8 bits. I need to see this getting used somewhere. I really do. I have no clue what's going on here. Let's try orientation equals. Of course. Okay. Orientation equals. Look at the example code here. See if it has anything. Particle orientation equals. And then we left shift at 24. Okay, so... So just offsetting X position with random. I guess if I offset X and Y, it should be better, because we want to offset it on a plane. Not just X, but Y should also do it. I'm just trying to get this orientation in here to make it like waggle back and forth a little bit, or rotate a little. But this is the most bizarre thing I've ever run into. So it uses an unsigned 32-bit integer, but it only uses the first 8 bits from it, and those 8 bits are used to determine a rotation. It's not even a half float. A half float would at least use 16 bits. This seems more like a quarter float. Like I don't get it. Why do you not use a sine or cosine table? Sine and cosine tables are great. But they're only good for obvious, like, rotations. In here, I want it to kind of wiggle back and forth, and those are using some non-arbitrary, or those are using arbitrary angles in there, so a sine cosine table isn't going to be as useful in this case. Okay, so I think I understand how this works now, at least from the help of this line here. You can see he's left shifting at 24 bits. And so this is an 8-bit representation right here. Random 256, because remember, 0 to 256 is a byte. Or actually 0 to 255 is a byte, sorry. And then if you left shift at 24, you put it in the leftmost bits, and interesting things happen. So let's get that out of there for a sec. And let's put off this for a little. Let's see here. So we'd have to create special particles, which is not the end of the world, if we want to do a minor offset to all of them. Do we? I mean, I guess I could stuff the data in the particle system. I'd really rather not, though. So I'm trying to do interesting things by modifying it on a time basis. Adding something like an X and Y is also... Let's just do this and do it right. Oh, also I didn't mean to remove the alpha, I meant to remove the orientation. Let's kill this for a sec. So, whatever we do, it needs to go between, okay, 0 and 256 is a full rotation, so I can assume that 0 and 128. Okay. So this isn't pi anymore. This is simply, let's see here, times 128. Of course, I can't type. I say 128, and then something else completely different happens. there's our sine value. There's our... There. Okay. Times 128. So this will give us a number between 0 and 128. Constantly. So we're going to take this, and we are going to left shift it 24. And this is a, what? This will break down into an int 32. Crud. Okay. We want this to happen first. I'm trying to think order of operations here. So it's going to do all this innermost stuff attached to the sine. Right? And then it's going to put that all through a floating point absolute number. And then we want to multiply it by 128. Then we want to convert it to an int 32. And then we want to shift it 24 bits over. Cool. This may have the desired effect. Just took a little bit more thought. Okay, so I don't need to put down the farms and stuff. Okay. Oh, that's cute. So apparently 0 is like upright and 128 is like this. So we need to go not from 0 to 128, but we need to go from negative 6, from what, 0, 128. We need to go from, oh, this is becoming an interesting problem indeed. So we've got this side of the half circle dealt with. So I think if we just add 64 and then flip the texture, we should be fine. Also, they're a little too small. I can't really see them anymore. And we need to make sure that we can see them. So instantiate, sorry. 0.5 is a good thing. And let's just make them spawn less frequently. Just so that it's a less obvious occurrence. So let's say instead of 4, we'll make this 3.5. We'll just mark it. 3.5. In fact, let's just go with 3 seconds. Also, let's slow down how often they were wiggling. So you can't do negative. That's the problem, right? It's an unsigned fixed. Oh well. I just realized I shouldn't be turning that down. I should be turning this up. I'm creating one every 3 seconds. I needed to create one every 5 seconds. There we go. Oh wait, no, that's... I just realized I had 2 different numbers in 2 different places again. I gotta stop doing that. Creation time 2. Let's say 2.5. Let's try 2.5. And okay, the images are larger, and we need to do a simple offset, and we should be good. So let's offset it plus 64. This is bizarre and absurd in so many ways. Actually, let's also slow it down so I can see what the heck is going on. Minibot, I am adding little sleeping Z particles to my little sleeping people. So the Z's are still kind of going crazy. So let's see here. here's the sign of everything inside this, times, so that'll make it do this instead of the full amount, right? No, that won't. That'll just make it, let's see here. And the floating point is actually messing with us. So let's... Oh, I know what I should do. Okay. Sine goes from -1 to 1, right? Sorry. Here's your range. You know, up to 1, down to -1, back to 0, right? What we need to do, and this should have been obvious from the start, and I don't know why I'm not doing this all along, but here's our sine value. We're going to take it. We are going to, let's see here. So first we have to shift the range, right? So we're just going to add 1. So now it goes from 0 to 2, right? We have -1 to 1. We're going to take that number line and shift it from 0 to 2. Then we're going to compress it down to 0 to 1 by dividing this whole mess by 2. Okay, so now we have something that goes between 0 and 1. Nice and simple. You'll notice it was kind of hitting an edge and bouncing back. That was the floating point absolute value that we were kind of bouncing off of every single time. And now we're going between 0 and 1. I actually kind of liked it going between -1 and 1 in some ways. But whatever. Let's see, if I have it go between -1 and 1 and then set that range to be like 64 to 160? 64 to 162. That would do it. And I've only multiplied it by 100 instead of the usual stuff just to ensure that, yeah, this should look better. Should look good. That's it. Cut down those trees. That's close enough, right? The only other thing I want to do is make this wiggle less. Thank you, dog. Let's make it wiggle very, very little, in fact. And that should be good. This is something I could call complete-ish for now. We can add more neat stuff to it later, but this is kind of a good, simple thing to do. The only other thing I might want to add to this I like how most of the Z's start sideways. Let's try that. The only other thing I can think of adding very easily is having velocity changes. I guess we could set velocity using sine wave stuff. Yeah, it's definitely rotating more one direction than the other. Definitely. Here. I just want to test something here. In fact, let's do something a little more obvious, just for my eyes. This should give us a 45-degree angle in one of the directions. Should, right? Okay. So 0 is straight up, and we know 64 turns it on its side, right? So we want something that goes between 32... Can I do a negative 32? I don't think I can. I think this will really, really be unhappy. If this works, I'll be happy. Okay, so minus 32 is... The sign is just getting cut off. It's unsigned, so it doesn't... It's just completely ignoring them. The fact that he starts at 0 here is the biggest pain in the butt. If he started with 0 on its side, you could say go between here and here very easily. Oh gosh, how do we do this? Just rotate the picture. Oddly enough. Let's see here. Alright, why not? So that big ugly solution I had before will now work. Except, let's see, plus 32. Let's kill that first. Actually, no, this plus 32 is actually necessary, isn't it? Whoops. Oh well. Oh, we have to re-import the texture. Alright. So the only thing I don't like, the only reason why I didn't rotate the texture earlier is I'm not a big fan of, I just don't really like... Yeah, I mean, it's working, and it's doing what it's supposed to. I actually want to make that even more subtle, maybe. 16s. Something like that. The reason I don't want to change the data like that is that this is a problem that, granted, this is a problem that would be difficult to solve in code, so a data solution is not actually the end of the world. It's just kind of a pain when you get out to the point where you're like, yeah, but I should... Oops. There we go. Dog. Everybody come back. I need some people here. Apollo, quit it. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. There's a point where you say, yes, a code solution is not going to be as efficient as a data solution. I don't like modifying my data, though, just because the code is difficult to write. It's kind of a cop-out in some ways, and so that's why I didn't like doing that initially. There we go. That's beautiful. So the only other thing is to shift this to 64 and make this a 32 change, I think. Just so that the number is even on both sides. When 0 is up, you don't need to add any number. Yeah, it's kind of... I need to think about some of that myself. See what better solution I might want to do. But we have sleep particles. We made our point. We're doing our thing. And I think we're pretty much at the point where we can call this complete, right? This feature is done. We now have a way to know whether somebody is sleeping or dead. And it looks good. So, I'm just going to go back to those old numbers because they looked better. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free, ask away. I'm going to commit the code, add in that new data.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, dog. Let's see here. Feature adds Z's to sleeping villagers. Fix removing unnecessary files. Oh gosh, yeah. Kotu fan, you got it. Change stamina back. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. Add Z's to sleeping villagers, removing unnecessary files, and that's really all we did. Like, this was a fairly small change once again, but because it was a new system, I was a little rusty on its use. But we do have a whole new particle system, which is cool. And now that we have one particle system, it might be worth it to go in and add other particle systems later, such as having dust come out when you cut down a tree, to make it more obvious when those events are happening. Alright, these look good. Let's look at this controller change real quick. Make sure that nothing... Okay, yeah, nothing else is set in here to change. So that's good. Yeah, I have one cute dog, one little cute dog, and right now the one I'm taking care of, let's see if I can get the camera to point at her. She is right on the couch, right over... Hey Zoe! Hey Zoe girl! Yeah, you can see the head poking over the couch. And she says, hey, what's up? Anyway. Back to me. Back at the dog, now back to me. Now back to the code, now back to me. Sadly, your code is not me. Wait. Alright.
Jeez, Mr. Old Spice.
Yeah. Alright. Thanks, guys. It's been short, it's been nice, it's been sweet. OBS hasn't died on me, so this video is going to go straight to YouTube. Thank you a lot for joining me today. If you like what I'm doing and haven't been here before, please hit the follow button. You'll see more of my game design and creation antics, mostly programming. Yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day wherever you are. And take care. Bye, y'all.